You notice it in the shower drain. A little more each week. You see it in a photograph. That thinning spot on your crown you cannot see. It feels like a verdict, like something you've lost quietly while you weren't looking. And everyone tells you the same story is genetics. It's your father's hairline coming to collect. A slow, inevitable surrender you were just supposed to accept. You were supposed to just watch it happen. Here's the truth. That story is a trap. It's a lie that costs you time, money, and hope while the real process grinds on. Because it's not a passive fading away. It's an active biological fight happening on your scalp right now. And you are currently losing it by default. But you don't have to. By the end of this, you will understand the exact mechanism stealing your hair. You will know the hierarchy of what actually works, from the food on your plate to the clinical options on the shelf. This isn't about vanity. It's about control. So let's start with the real culprit, not fate. Biology. Your body takes testosterone and converts some of it into a more potent derivative called DHT. For most of your body, that's just chemistry. But if you have the genetic code for it, the hair follicles on the top of your head are covered in tiny landing pads for this DHT. Think of them like sensors. When DHT locks in, it does just sit there. It flips a switch. It triggers a slow, smoldering inflammatory response around that follicle. A quiet siege. The follicle, under this constant pressure, starts to starve. It panics, and it begins to shrink. This process has a name, miniaturization. It is not an on-off switch. It's a dimmer. Over years, that healthy, thick hair follicle produces a slightly thinner, shorter hair, then a finer one, then just a wisp of peach fuzz, until one day it gives up and goes dormant. That's the clock. You have a 5 to 10 year window from the first sign of thinning to that follicle shutting down for good. The fear you feel looking at that photo, that's you hearing the clock tick. But here's the pivot. That clock is also your opportunity, because a follicle producing that wispy hair is still alive. It's wounded, but it's in the fight. Once it goes completely dark, waking it up is a much harder battle. The goal is not to reverse time. The goal is to stop the siege, to change the environment on that battlefield. And that begins not with a pill or a potion, but with what's on your fork. So you understand the siege. DHT is the signal. Inflammation is the fire. And your follicle is the fortress under attack. Genetics handed you the blueprint, but you control the supplies. You control the environment. That starts with your diet, not magic. Logistics. Your body is a chemical factory. What you eat determines what raw materials are on the floor. Eat a bunch of sugar and refined carbs, you spike your insulin. That's like throwing gasoline on the inflammatory fire already burning around those follicles. It also creates a hormonal environment where more testosterone is available to be converted into the very DHT attacking you. It's a double betrayal. The stuff you were told was harmless is actively funding the enemy. So cut the supply line, reduce the sugar, slash the processed carbs. This is about weight. It's about insulin sensitivity. And for a man over 55, improving that sensitivity might be your single biggest dietary lever. It quiets the whole system down. Now, what do you bring in? Protein. Your hair is literally made of it. Keratin. If you are not eating enough, your body won't waste it on hair. It's that simple. Aim for your body weight in kilograms, in grams, every day. Then specific tools. Zinc, pumpkin seeds, oysters, beef. Zinc may gently slow the enzyme that creates DHT. And cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, kale, Brussels sprouts. They contain compounds that help your liver clean up excess hormones. Think of them as the cleanup crew after the battle. And go easy on the dairy, especially skim milk. The data is messy, but it consistently correlates with higher DHT levels. You are not building a prison diet. You are running a precision operation. Food is your first and most profound intervention. It changes the battlefield. But sometimes you need to reinforce the walls directly. That is where the first clinical tool comes in. Minoxidil, Rogaine. You've seen the ads. Here's what it actually is. It's a vasodilator. It forces the tiny blood vessels around your follicle to open wider. It's like digging a moat and then opening the floodgates. More blood flow, more nutrients, more oxygen delivered to the besieged fortress. It can prolong the growth phase of those weakened hairs. It can turn peach fuzz back into something resembling hair. But it has rules. You apply it to your scalp, not your hair. Twice a day. Every day. You will likely shed more hair in the first 2 months. That's a good sign. It means the treatment is kicking out the old dying hairs to make room for new ones. It works best on the crown. It works best if you have been losing hair for less than 5 years. And here's the crucial part. It does not block DHT, not one bit. It's giving a stimulant to a follicle that is still under attack. It's helpful. It can be very helpful, but it is not addressing the root cause. And for a significant number of people, it does nothing at all. Their scalp lacks the specific enzyme to activate it. You can use it for 6 months and find out you were a non-responder. That's the gamble. So it's a tool, a good one, but it's not the master key. The master key is a different conversation. A prescription. Finasteride. This is where the tone shifts. This is serious. Finasteride works. It systemically lowers your DHT production by about 70%. It goes to the source and drastically reduces the attacking force. For stopping progression and regrowing hair, it is the most effective thing we have. It is a commitment, a daily pill. Stop taking it, and you lose what you gained within a year. And it has potential side effects. Decreased libido, erectile dysfunction. They are not common. They are usually reversible if you stop, but they are real. You must have a blunt conversation with your doctor, a full conversation. If you're over 60, this talk must include your prostate health. Finasteride is also used to treat an enlarged prostate. This is not a casual decision. It is a strategic one. Weighing a potential side effect against the certainty of continued loss. It is most effective on the crown, less so on a receding hairline. This is not a scare tactic. It is the necessary context for a powerful weapon. You deserve to know exactly what you are picking up. Now, what about everything else? The supplements, the lasers, the alternative universe of hope in a bottle. Let's be pragmatic. Saw palmetto. It's a weak, natural version of what finasteride does. The studies are mixed. It might help with very mild loss. It probably won't hurt. A standard dose is 320 milligrams of an extract. Then there are deficiencies. Low iron stores can cause thinning. Low vitamin D. Biotin is only useful if you are actually deficient. And for seniors, be warned. Biotin supplements can completely screw up important blood tests for your heart and thyroid. Tell your doctor you were taking it. As for laser caps and combs, the science is promising but thin. They might stimulate the follicle with light. They require consistent, long-term use. They are a supporting actor, not the star. This is your toolkit. From the food you choose, to the topical aid, to the prescription decision, to the supplemental support. It's a hierarchy. It's a strategy. So let's bring it all back to that first moment. The hair in the drain. The photograph. That feeling of a verdict being passed. You thought it was genetics. A sentence. Now you know it's biology. A process. DHT. Inflammation. The slow siege. The miniaturization clock. But here is the reframe. That clock is not just a countdown to loss. It is your window of action. That early thinning you fear, that is the signal. That is the prime time. The fortress is under attack, but the walls are still standing. That is when every tool in this hierarchy has its best chance. You start with the environment, your diet. You cut the supply lines to the inflammation. You bring in the specific nutrients that support the structure and gently modulate the chemistry. That is control. You can then reinforce the walls directly. Minoxidil. Flood the area with supplies. Give those besieged follicles a reason to keep fighting. And for the most direct intervention, you have the serious conversation. Finasteride. Reducing the attacking force at its source. And throughout, you use intelligent support. Saw palmetto. Addressing key deficiencies with clear eyes about what each one does and does not do. This is no longer a mystery. It is a map. The overwhelming noise of the hair loss industry. The miracle shampoos, the empty promises. That noise fades away. What's left is the signal. A clear, personalized strategy based on what you can actually control. Your hair's health is a report card on your body's internal environment. By fighting for your hair, you are promoting a healthier cellular state everywhere. You are not fighting fate. You are managing a biological process. That is the shift. From passive to active, from scared to strategic. And if you want a place to start within that support layer, with the natural tools that have the most straightforward evidence, I've linked to a high-quality, third-party tested saw palmetto and zinc formula in the description below. It's the one I look for when navigating this myself, where quality is non-negotiable. But that's just one piece. The real power is in the understanding. You notice the hair in the drain. Now you know what to do about it. The clock is ticking. But now you know it's not a countdown. It's a timeline. And you are in charge of it.